Hello and welcome to the Sunday special episode of the U Up Podcast. I'm Jordana Abraham.
And I am Jared Freed. It is so good to be back here with you, Jordana. We love a Sunday special.
Love a Sunday special. How are things?
Everything's good. I mean, I'm feeling good. The special is out. It's a Sunday. Here it is. Sunday.
Time to watch.
If you haven't watched it, this is the night. Make it a night.
Are you living under a rock? You haven't watched it yet?
You stupid fucking loser.
We love the audience.
No, we love the audience.
Yes.
Listen, no. We love you. We want you to go watch the special. Tonight's a great night for it.
Yes.
On the couch, comfy cozies, glass of wine. Get that joint.
Watch it with someone you're dating. Or
Right.
Watch it alone.
It's going to spur conversations, just like this podcast spurs conversations. The special does.
I love watching a comedy special with like someone that I'm dating. I feel like it's a fun way to gauge their sense of humor. What are they laughing at?
Absolutely.
What are they not?
Great fourth, fifth date.
Totally.
Not a good first date.
Yeah, no.
Not to tell people not to watch it.
No, I agree.
Watch a special
It's a
alone.
little too much pressure on the first date.
We see it at the Comedy Cellar. I see it all the time, and it always looks like, we talked last time about like pickup lines.
Right.
It feels a little pickup line-y, like the physical form of it to bring someone to like, come with me to this ticketed event. It doesn't feel like they
Casual. So you need to
Right.
be able to leave in 20 minutes if you need to on a first date.
Right.
Is my thought.
I totally agree
Nothing where you can't leave within 20 minutes.
Right.
If you needed to. I'm not saying you should.
No.
Right.
It's just give me an out.
Yeah.
Oh, this was a nice drink. I gotta go.
All right. One drink.
Right.
Gotta go. It takes 20, 30 minutes.
Hey,
Yeah.
I gotta go wash my hair for an hour. Or whatever remember that was like a big excuse. It was feels like a 1950s excuse.
Yeah.
Gotta wash my hair
The
tonight.
curlers
Yeah. So but I see these guys at comedy shows and first date. And also they end up front and you go, hey, well, how do you guys know each other? They're like, we're on a first date. Ooh.
Right.
Everyone turns into fucking
They're like
8-year-olds.
using you to entertain on their date.
That's a big part of it too.
Right. It's like a movie on a first date. Also, no.
No
It's
go.
like you need somewhere where you can talk to each other.
That's why if you're seeing someone a few dates in, fourth date, I think post-sexual activity is a good time to bring in the stand-up comedy special.
That's fair. There's no like awkwardness around the sex jokes yet.
Someone did text me. This is the dumbest text I've gotten since the special. Like I announced it. Guy I went to college with texted me. He's like, whoa, Netflix. He's like, dude, someone could be like Netflixing and chill to you. I'm like, that is the weirdest first thought on me having a Netflix special. It's like, whoa, someone might be fucking while you're yelling at them in the background. Like, it's
That's
like
the celebrity dream.
right.
Yes.
Like, what do you aspire to, dude? And
Right.
so that was actually a text. But I do think post great time.
It sounds like something Matthew McConaughey from Dazed and Confused would have said.
It was the dumbest. I didn't even respond to it. I was just like,
What?
thank you.
Okay.
So, yeah, check out the special, 37 and Single. It's up Sunday night. It is perfect Sunday night fodder, perfect Sunday night conversation starters, dating, breakups, dating apps, friends trying to fix you up, body image stuff, gender reveal parties, McDonald's, Jews. It's got it all.
The works as we say in the biz.
As we say in the biz, and I'm also on the road with a completely new hour of material from the special. So if you're in any of these cities, I'm going to be in Lexington, Colchester, Connecticut, Providence, Atlanta, Huntington, Long Island, Seattle, Washington, Charlotte, Philly, D.C., Baltimore, Dania Beach, which is Fort Lauderdale-ish, Portland, Oregon, Phoenix, Arizona, San Diego, Boston, jaredfree.com for tickets, jaredfree.com for tickets. Jordana, oversharing. What else is going on?
Oversharing. If I'll be in Italy. I'll be coming home from Italy today, so that's where I was. I'm sure I had a great time.
Where are you going in
Haven't gone
Italy?
yet. I'm going to Lake Como in Tuscany.
What?
I'm excited.
Harry and his fiancée went to Lake Como. Loved it.
Oh yeah,
Yeah, I've been to Tuscany.
nice.
You've been to
Yeah.
Tuscany.
Well, I've been to Florence. I
Yeah,
guess Tuscany.
Firenze.
Tuscany. There's like more like the Tuscan countryside. Is where I'm.
So you're
But
saying
I'm also
like
going to Florence, our old stomping grounds.
Yob.
I think maybe the trip will be a little different.
Little
than
different,
then.
yeah.
Yeah.
Go to, what was it? Space.
Yeah, I don't
Yob.
think
Those were the clubs.
I don't think we're going to space, Mike and I, but
Get the blueberry steak and Antico No Way.
Yeah, whatever. I think
They're
there's
open
a
here
new-
now.
There's a new. That's another thing. I feel like they've like taken the places and opened them here, made them less exciting. But I'm sure there's other
Some
new
entrepreneurial kid
spots.
from Long Island was like, I'll bring you out to New York,
Grom?
baby.
Yeah, we'll get some authentic gelato that's not Blue Hawaii. It's going to be lovely.
I love it for you.
Yeah.
Lake Como, that's going to be amazing.
I'm excited. Yeah. It'd be nice to get away. It's a little ill-timed. We booked the trip before we closed on the house, so I'm nervous to leave my house.
My home.
Right.
This is how suburban people become afraid of everything.
I'm just kind of like, I don't know, like I just got this house. What if I don't know, what if I didn't turn something off right and it just like burns to the
Right.
ground while I'm gone? I don't
That's
know.
why you have insurance.
I know, but I'd rather not do that.
Well, yeah, I agree.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's a little bit,
I'm
you're
like-
finding out what it's like. This is why your parents were always just nervous all the time.
Right. Just, turning off lights,
Right.
turning off the stove, which you should probably do,
Well, this is great. I'm happy for you, the vacation. We want to play a game?
Yeah, let's do it. Let's play some Petty or Prudent.
People love this game.
I love this game.
I love it. Everyone loves it. UUP@betches.com if you have your own Petty or Prudent.
Submission.
The rules are a breakup happens, something happens after the breakup. Was the person being petty, just trying to get you, or was it prudent and it needed to be done?
Needed to be done. Yeah.
You want me to read it?
Let's go for it.
Hi, Jared and Jordana. I think I was prudent here, but curious what your thoughts are. The facts. I like how
This person's just really going right in.
Yeah. I broke off the engagement in October 2020. No money had been spent on the wedding arrangements. We agreed to split the funds from the joint checking account since we contributed equally to it. I took my half when we broke up, and he was supposed to close the account after he changed the auto pay of his credit card to another account. Almost 3 years later, the account was still open, and there have been no activity on it in over a year. I transferred the money, around $10K, to my account, closed the account, texted him to let him know, and asked where I should send the check. If it matters, I'm 38 female, he's 46 male at this point. We don't keep in touch, but I know he still has the same number. It's been a couple months and he still hasn't responded. So what do you think? Was this petty or prudent? Sincerely, a betch with severance.
I would say this is prudent. I think
Yeah.
it's like she's telling him she's going to give him the money. If she kept it, that would be petty. She texted him and said, you had 3 years to close this account.
Right.
I don't need to have a joint checking account with you anymore.
Mm-hmm.
You didn't close it. I don't want to have this account. So I took the money. I'll give it to you.
Right. It's also no. I'm rereading it right now to like get all the facts.
Right.
You know, the facts are important. She took her money initially.
Yes.
Then the account's there and it's just his money.
Right. And he's
She-
supposed to close the account, though, because she's on the account also.
Right. That's the important part is like you kind of leave yourself open with an account just sitting there to fraud.
That's what I'm saying. Or
Yeah.
like an overdraft or something.
Right.
Anything the other. If you're sharing an account with someone, they could mess up your finances in some way, shape, or form.
Exactly. It is.
Yeah.
So this is really organizational.
3 years is a long time. And also just like, what are you going to share a checking account with them for the rest of your life?
And who doesn't need 10 grand? This guy's just sitting there with 10 grand. People are weird about their money, just like emotionally weird.
Right.
I don't know if this is a way of like keeping you. I
I
don't
was
know.
thinking that like maybe he like didn't want to, like he wanted to maintain a connection to her since she's the one who ended it.
Did she end it?
Yeah, she
I
said
broke
she
off.
broke it up.
Yeah. And he's holding it over you to kind of keep you feeling bad. I think that's a big part of it.
Right.
Like if you have this connection, you still feel bad and guilty about breaking off an engagement to him.
Right.
It's a little you could go down the road of manipulation very quickly.
I kind of agree. And then he doesn't answer her text, which
Right.
is also weird. Like, why aren't you just like acknowledging that? Does he not want the money?
Right.
If I mean, I don't know if I guess she doesn't know where he lives. If I knew where he lived, I would just send him a check. But if she doesn't know that, then I guess she just has to wait for him to eventually contact her to get his money.
Close the account, text him to let him know, and ask where I should send it, and he doesn't want the money. This is crazy.
Yeah.
This is actually, the more I think about it, the weirder this gets. To me, this shows you, to me, the fact that she's even asking if this is prudent proves what I've always said. Breakups are harder on the breaker-upper.
Really?
If you think about it.
I mean, no, I disagree
Or
with that.
just
Because
as hard.
if he's doing that, that means this really fucked him up.
Yeah, but why is that 3 years later? It's her responsibility.
You're right. It's always the
3 years. It's
it's always
always
harder for the person who's inflicting the pain.
yes.
Yes.
This person's asking us, "Am I doing everything right?" It's like, yeah, you are. You've 3 years.
Right.
Give your fucking money. Answer my text. Take your fucking money. My
Right.
name's on this account. I already did this for you.
Yeah, she feels
I gotta do all the work.
it's annoying. I agree.
It's really annoying to me. Now, the more.
Well, why
Why is this such a slow burn for me? I'm like enraged now.
Why did she end the engagement? I wonder.
Because he's a piece of shit who doesn't do fucking shit. He's lazy.
Now you know why he deserves it.
Right.
Yeah.
Well,
I mean, I think if she that's what I'm saying. If she
he's
took
a big
the money
fucking baby.
and she spent
Get over it.
that would be petty. But she's trying to get it back to him. She's done everything a responsible person should do.
Right.
And it's just annoying for her because she still has this tie to this guy. She owes him money, and like who knows when he's just gonna come out of the woodwork and be like, "Where's my money?" And she's supposed to hold on to it.
That's even more. Now I'm even angrier. My dad, you know, if like I'd have a check.
Yeah.
It's like rude to not cash a check.
People get annoyed about that.
It's really rude, and that's how I was always told. Like I remember,
because now the other person has to like make sure the money's in the account indefinitely until you decide to cash it.
I've made this mistake, this faux pas, so to speak,
Of not cashing a check.
and then I remember my dad said something to me like, "What are you, an asshole?" And I was like, "What do you mean?" I never thought of it that way.
Right.
But now, now I think of it that way because I've made the mistake. This guy's being a piece of shit. 10 grand? You're just gonna hold it? Can she put it in a money market account? Can she put it in like
she could do whatever
S&P?
she could do whatever she wants on it. She could make interest while he waits. If I were her, that's what I would do. I would just put it in a invest it, and then you only have to pay him back the initial payment.
Right. Yeah, this is you're so prudent it annoys me.
Well, would you would have done the same thing, I think.
I would have done it earlier.
Yeah, I would have done it. I would have done it 1 year in.
Yeah, I guess breaking up an engagement, that just shows you how much, but it's hard because she's tiptoeing. She's tiptoeing around his feelings. And there's a point where it's like, if I were her, like if I was like to give advice, from some, what the fuck do I know? I'd text like a friend. Is this person okay? I have 10 grand of his. I'm trying to get through to him.
Right.
And I just think anyone would want 10 grand. Like it's not a nothing amount of money.
I almost think she did all she needed to do. She texted him. She could send one more text. Hey, just following up. Would really like to just close this out and send you like the money. You just tell me where to send it to. And if he doesn't answer, then just put it in an account, let it grow, and you keep the interest.
Put it in some risky investments.
Yeah,
let it ride.
He could. Yeah, imagine how annoying it would be if your ex, if you tried to get back at them by doing this kind of thing, and then they wound up making a ton of money.
Right. It would
really backfire.
Not only do I not have to marry you, but I'm a millionaire now.
Exactly.
Thank you.
But I agree. Prudent.
Okay. Let's do an email.
Okay. Hi, J&J. Love the podcast. What are your thoughts on once a cheater, always a cheater? As context, I started dating a guy I met through mutual friends a couple months ago. I've known him for a while, but I was hesitant to date him because since I've been in the friend group for a long time, I've heard stories about his history of cheating. Previously, he was in a relationship for 6 years, and when he'd be on trips with the boys, he'd sometimes get drunk and cheat on his girlfriend. I don't know how much it happened, but it wasn't a one-time thing, and it was definitely something the boys talked about. I was really attracted to him from the beginning and eventually agreed to go on a date with him. I talked to the mutual friends beforehand, and they all thought he's worked on himself a lot since being single and that he's much more mature now. He's 33. Than he was in the relationship in his 20s. They were all super supportive of us dating and didn't seem to think it would be an issue. After the first few dates, I asked him about the cheating and shared that it makes me really nervous. And he was extremely honest. He shared that he isn't proud of his past and feels a lot of guilt. He teared up a bit talking about it and insisted that he's worked on himself, will not do it again, and will always be honest with me. I really appreciated the honesty and sincerity, but I can't help but be a little nervous. We've now been dating for a couple months and are exclusive, but I'm hesitant to get more serious because of this. Aside from this, everything has been going great, and he's done everything right. He's very charming, we have a great chemistry, and there's no other red flags at all. What are your thoughts? Do you think people change? Is this too big of a red flag to overlook? A nervous Betch.
This is a tough one because the easy answer is just always a cheater.
Once a cheater, always a cheater.
Always a cheater. And then you're right until you're wrong. You're wrong until you're right.
Right.
You know?
I mean, there's right. You can always be proven right,
Right.
eventually.
Right.
There's always time to be proven right.
Right. So it's like you sound smart. You've made this person out to be leather jacket wearing,
Right.
Mr. Cool Guy, fucks around on boys' trips. But I think you're a cheater on a situation. Like I think
Agreed.
you're a cheater on
Well, to
a
an extent.
dynamic to an extent. Again, the extremes.
Right.
Some people are just fucking maniacal lying assholes.
Mhm.
And that exists everywhere in life.
Right.
You know, you could be taken advantage of in anything.
Yeah. Well, I would ask him what he's done to work on this. That he said he's worked on himself a lot because that's what.
What
Yeah.
would he, but what would he?
Been to
what-
therapy, learned how to communicate better,
What-
learned how
how
to
many-
leave a bad situation instead of.
What if his response was, I was in my 20s and I took some time to be single and learn about what I wanted. And here are the reasons I think I stayed in that relationship. Gave me comfort. It was easy. I didn't have to be alone. It's that post-college period where you're on your own, but you're not ready to be on your own and you're looking for support wherever you can get it. And it was with the wrong person, so I lashed out and cheated on that until I
Right.
felt comfortable. You know, like I
I mean
there are,
that's
like,
fair. You
there's-
can do your own. But I'm saying it would have to be like I would have to understand the mindset and the reflections and like why it was so different. And you know what? Even after all of that, I would still put it in your file.
That's the thing about this.
It's always going to be in your file.
Right. And when she says like the one problem is she writes he's very charming. When I see
Well-
that line in the email, I'm like,
As a cheater is.
that's
Sorry.
how sly as a fox.
Yeah.
You know, like you do see that line and you go, she probably doesn't even, there's a little bit of mistrust in herself.
Yeah, I mean that's a charming person is like by definition someone who you want to believe.
Right. So I think that's like her
And also
problem
someone
here.
who's probably good at cheating.
Right.
Is
This
the
guy
other-
sounds awesome.
I mean,
what a cool dude.
Is that not the case? I mean, like
No,
that's
I-
sort of like the nature of like anyone who sort of does things that are deceptive. They're like pretty good at talking.
Right. I get
Um,
that's like the part of this I like. It's on the resume, in the
Yeah.
file. Totally agree. And then you have to be kind of like okay with. Honestly, this could be like I heard you and Dr. Naomi talking on the podcast about like some relationships after cheating are better
Yeah.
because then they like it was like the medicine they needed. And again, I don't want to like
Endorse.
endorse,
Right, yeah.
you know, that I'm not saying that's what you should do, but the way they communicate after is like so much better because this thing is there.
Mhm.
She almost gets that without having the cheating.
Right.
Be-
Assuming again, like that he's being authentic and he has
Right.
really learned from this experience.
But also she gets she has the right to bring it up.
right.
Like she's already brought it up
yeah, she gets to discuss it without it
without being
happening to
cheated
her.
on.
Yeah.
So like she brought it up. That's an uncomfortable conversation. I just saw there was a Bachelorette episode where this happened, where the guy was like, listen, you know, Charity had dealt with cheating in her past. And then the guy Xavier was like, I want to let you know I've cheated on a significant other before. And because you've dealt with this, I want to bring this up. And then he brought it up in like the worst way. Like he just said it. He didn't have his talking points down. It was like he literally said too much. He was like, you know, when you're on vacation and you don't know. But in his conversation to Charity, he's like, I was on vacation. And then you could tell he wasn't sure about her because he couldn't speak in like absolutes.
Okay.
Like he
You
couldn't
wouldn't say I would never cheat on you.
right.
I mean that's something I would need to hear.
Right.
Yeah.
But this is the point. This is where Charity was like, then I can't stay with you. You can't make a promise. But it's also him having to be honest with himself. Like
Right.
you're basically in this scene with Charity and Xavier, you witness him going, I'm not sure about us. At a minimum.
Right.
It wasn't him saying, I'm going to cheat on you to me. It was him saying, I can't make that promise because I'm not that in love with you.
right.
So
But
I think that's a good example.
I mean, that's almost like the other issue, though, right? Is like making it about her when it should be like, for me, even if he was like, I'm not going to cheat on you because I love you so much, to me, that's still an issue. It's like, I want you to not cheat on me because you wouldn't cheat on anyone. Because you
Right.
because
But
that's not the kind of person you are.
Right. I think that like owning that the capacity is there is a more honest answer.
Fine.
You know, like
But I think I think there's a sense of like, because I've learned how much destruction and distrust cheating can create, and therefore I now, when I'm unhappy in a relationship, I leave the relationship instead of cheating on the person. Not about
right. Or I guess you're listening for those things. But
that's what I'm saying.
but
Like, I don't to me, a good answer isn't, I like you so much that I wouldn't cheat on you. That's like saying, like, I like you so much that I wouldn't hit you. It's like, no, I want you to not hit anyone.
I agree. I completely agree with what you're saying. I guess my point was more to say that, like, he couldn't move on with her in the relationship because he couldn't give I don't cheat. Like,
Okay.
he almost like, if you watch the conversation, I agree with you. Like, I guess what I'm trying to say is, like, because he couldn't have that direct an answer, that was him waffling on the whole thing.
Right.
You know, and having to like hear himself say out loud, like, I can't go to the next step.
Right. Yeah, well, that's really like what he was trying to say then, and maybe using the cheating to facilitate it.
Absolutely. That's what it felt like.
Right.
And I think for this guy, what you kind of have the gift of is you're going to hear him have these conversations.
But I think what I would need to hear is not just, I would never cheat on you, is that I don't do that anymore. Because I mean, you see this a lot also with sometimes women are like, you know, he's like a little bit of an asshole, but he's really nice to me. And it's like, yeah, he's really nice to you because he likes you right now, but you're not always madly in love with the person that you're with. So you want someone to just not do that because they don't do that. Not because
it's a standard policy.
It feels more romantic to be like, well, he cheated on them, but it's different with me because he loves me. Whereas I think the better, less romantic, actual way to be with someone who doesn't cheat on you is someone who's like, I don't do that to anyone.
Right. One's healthy and one's unhealthy.
Right.
You know, the unhealthy is like, ooh, I'm the one he's put all this side.
Right.
Yeah, I understand
me
that.
because I'm so great. He's not going to cheat on me,
unhealthy.
whereas this other person sucked, so like they probably deserved it or something.
Right. Right. And the healthy is like, that's just the way I
don't
guess,
do that.
I guess
Right,
that's
yeah.
a good thing to ask him. Like, what would you do? I guess like if we were like to suggest questions for him.
Right. Let's say we're going through a rough patch, as people do if they're together for a very long time.
Right.
Like, how would you deal with it differently now than you did in the past?
That's a great question. Because if he hasn't thought through that, then how much self-reflection has he done?
Right, because his instinct is clearly when things aren't going well, or I assume that's
I go
why
on
he did this.
vacation.
Right.
I go to Cancun.
I go away with my friends and I hook up with whoever's there.
Yeah. Yeah. And that I agree with you. I think these are like good ways to go. And again, the gift of being able to say it. He teared up on the date because he feels bad about it. And he knows he has to talk to her about it. He knows his reputation is out there.
Right.
It precedes him. So it's like, again, I don't think this has to be brought up once a month, but I do think, like, let's say you're not feeling comfortable in the relationship. Hey, I got to like check in with you. Your file has something on it.
Right.
That makes me check in earlier than maybe I would have. Yeah. In another instance.
And he's got to understand that. Maybe like, when you're away with your friends and you don't call me before you know, at night, I get anxious because I know you've done this before.
Right. Right. And this reputation can be earned back over time. I don't think, you know, if she's a year in going, I don't feel comfortable with you going away, or I mean, 4 years in going, I haven't gotten a call from you. It's like, there's probably other issues in the relationship and maybe we have a problem
I believe people can change, but I do think it wouldn't be crazy to be like, okay, that's something that I remember that you've done. And maybe keep it in mind if there's something weird that I feel, a weird feeling that I have.
It wouldn't be crazy at all if a month from now he goes on a bachelor party and the first night you don't hear from him at all until the next morning. He's like, oh, I'm so hungover. For you to feel extremely off about that.
Yeah.
And then to go, hey, when you don't call, this is your first time away and we just started dating. And I talked to you about the cheating stuff from before, and I'm sorry this is the case, but I can't really shake that when the first night you go away, you don't call me or text and you disappear off the face of the earth. Like,
Yeah,
again,
and if he wouldn't understand that would make someone nervous or anxious,
then he's not really worked through it.
Then he's just very charming with his tears.
Then he's the
sociopath.
coolest guy in New Orleans. Yeah, no, it's I just think like it's interesting, like the order of operations for that conversation. You have allowances.
Yeah.
Which he can't really
I agree.
deny.
I mean, you can't deny your past. And like, it's something that I think he would almost, like, if he were truly invested in this relationship, I think he would go out of her way to make her feel more comfortable about that. I would do that if I had something in my past that someone knew, at least in the beginning, you know?
Yeah.
I would make sure they knew that it was not like that this time.
Yeah. I deal with it. You know, my reputation as a gentle and wonderful lover precedes me. And, you know, in every relationship, I have to, you know, speak to that.
In case you don't act like that.
Right.
Yes. You don't want to get anyone too comfortable.
Gentle yet strong with my hands.
Exactly.
We solved dating again, Jordana.
We did it. And we'll be back next week with more dating advice.
Watch the special.
Watch the special if you haven't yet. It's never too late.
Never too late.
Bye. The You Up podcast is produced by Jorge Morales-Pico, Sean Kilby, and Candice Maniga. Editing by Jorge Morales-Pico and Shannon Sassone. Social media by Candice Maniga. Guest booking by Ali Friedlander. Be sure to follow at you.up.podcast on Instagram and send us your emails to uup@betches.com.